Hello, and welcome to this presentation on punctuating dialogue. Punctuating dialogue. There is a method to the madness. I know that punctuating dialogue feels random, and maybe you haven't noticed the pattern, but I promise you there is a pattern. I'm going to teach it to you right now. Okay, let me make this window a little smaller. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at our first slide here. The basics. It's good to know the names of the parts of dialogue. There's two components. There's the speech, what can be heard, and there's the tag. And I want to think you think of that as a present tag, like the tag I'd put on a gift that I took to a birthday party. Okay. So there's the speech and the tag. The tag says who the speech is from. Okay. Speech are the things I can hear spoken. Okay. All right. So there's the basics. So for example, here's my example. My name is Meg. She said. All right. Question. Do you always need a tag? That comes up a lot. Once you start writing, you're thinking, do I have to say Meg said, she said, Joe said, he said? No. If it's obvious who is talking because it's two people going back and forth or they say each other's names, you can leave the tag out. And that's something that your editing partner can help you with. Is this clear who's talking? They can tell you, I don't know who's talking here. So for example, my name is Meg. I know Meg is saying that, right? So if that's clear. Nice to meet you, Meg. I'm Joe. Joe just said his name, so maybe I don't need to say he said or Joe said. But if I have multiple women and multiple men, then it might be helpful to say my name is Meg, or she said my name is Meg. But there's two guys, one who's Joe. You can decide if it makes sense for your story to add the tag, but you're allowed to leave it out if you think it's obvious. There's 3 ways to write dialogue. Okay, there's tag first, tag in the middle, tag at the end. So the most common one we see is tag at the end. Yeah. My name is Meg, she said. Now I want you to notice, sorry, the thing keeps popping up. I want that to go away. Okay. So tag first. Let's talk about tag first. Why not? She said, comma, quotes, cap, my name is Meg. Wait a minute, Miss Griswold. Why is there a capital letter in the middle of this sentence? Aha. There is a capital letter. I'm trying to see if this will make it. Oh, no, it doesn't help. There is a capital letter in the middle of that sentence because it's the first thing that the speaker is saying. It's the first word of the speaker's sentence. So the first word of a speech sentence gets a capital, even though we've already had a capital at the beginning of the sentence. Crazy. What I'd also like you to notice is there's a little comma right there. There's always needs to be something that separates the tag from the speech. We need a little breaker. And when it's tag first, like she said or he said, you put a comma there. Now, it might say, Meg said, watch out for that tree. That's fine too. It doesn't always have to be the word she. But whatever your tag is, if you do tag first and speech second, you put a comma and you make a capital letter. And then notice inside at the end of the speech is a period followed by the quotation marks, not the other way around, because that's the end of Meg's sentence. Okay, so there's a period there. Notice the capitals and lowercase letters. Let's look at tag in the middle. Sometimes you say, the name's Bond, he said. James Bond. Sometimes we want to interrupt the speech to say who's talking. My name, she said, is Meg. She said is my tag. My name is Meg is still my speech. I start my speech with a capital letter always, but it's not a capital letter for the she said because I'm in the middle of the sentence. I need a comma before the quotation mark. So anytime you have a quotation mark, like a closing one, there needs to be some kind of punctuation inside of it. And before a speech with a quotation mark, I need a comma before it. I know it's crazy, but it gets easier. I've written 4 books, and after the first book, I got it. The first one was filled with mistakes, and I fixed them on editing. When I wrote the second book, I got it. And then again, there's a period here because that's the end of my sentence. And finally, tag at the end. My name is Meg, capital letter, comma, quotation mark, she said, period. So notice there's always some kind of punctuation before my ending quotation mark. We call that a close quote, right? Because it closes the quotation. There's always a punctuation before the close quote. And if there's any kind of writing before the open quote, there needs to be a comma. Okay, since there's no writing before this, we don't need a comma before that. Okay, this presentation is on haiku. Come back to it. Look at your dialogue. Compare it to this. Make them look the same. Let's look at a couple other scenarios. What if your speech has a question mark or an exclamation point? For example, where are you? What if that's what somebody says? Where are you? She said, comma, where are you? Question mark, close quotation marks. Okay, no period needed. That serves the job of end punctuation of a period. What if it's in the middle? Where, she said, are you? We still need a comma before the close quote, a comma before the next one, and then the quotation mark goes in there. Or tag at the end. Where are you? She said. Okay. Question mark, period. Notice lowercase here, uppercase there. What about exclamation points? Woohoo! Hold on, let me move this. Move. There we go. Okay. She cheered. This is awesome. So she cheered. Always a comma after the tag if the tag comes first. That this is awesome. Exclamation point, quotation mark. No period needed. A period is equal to a question mark or an exclamation point. They're the same. They're all end punctuation. So they all can do the same job. That you can switch them out. Tag in the middle. This, she screamed, comma, comma. Notice those commas there, lowercase. Lowercase here because it's still part of this sentence. This is awesome, right? Exclamation point, end quote. And tag at the end. This is awesome, exclamation point. She shouted. I guess I did 3 different verbs there, but that's okay. Mix it up. Period there. Okay? So use this presentation when you're like, how do I do this again? Come back and look at this. Sometimes students say to me, real books don't do this, Miss Griswold, just making this up. Yes, in fact, they do. They've been doing this in every book you've ever read. Let's take a look at Alan Gratz, okay? First of all, I want to point out that our first dialogue does not have any tag because the door pounded, there's an exclamation point, and it says, on authority of the Judenrat. So we know that's a Judenrat officer saying that. Okay, there we go. No tag. Maybe I'm going to highlight these so you can see them a little better. Okay, next. Mama, I said. Great. Thank you, Alan Gratz, for giving me both an exclamation point and a question mark. Notice where the question mark is, inside the bunny ears. I always think the bunny ears are on the outside of the bunny's head. They're not in the middle of the bunny's head. They're over here. They have to hold the speech in. Okay, hold it in. Get in their speech. Let's look here again. We have, again, speech first, tag second. Notice the capitalization. This said here is lowercase. This I is capital because I is always capital. Okay, let's look at another one. Now, in this original, let me just double check my document, make sure I did this right in case I didn't retype it correctly. Mama. Give me a sec here. Mama, I said, oh, no, this is wrong. I typed it wrong. Sorry, this should be a lowercase I. And this should be a comma. Thank you, Alan Gratz. He did a tag in the middle. So the I said is in the middle. But what Yannick said is all one sentence. Mama, if we don't open up, they'll shoot us. So he has mama, capital, comma, quotation mark. I said, comma, lowercase I. If we don't open up, they'll shoot us. That's because that I is lowercase because it's a continuation of that same sentence that started with mama. So that is a tag in the middle. Okay, I was hoping we'd get all 3 types here. When I tell you to open the door. Okay, one thing that I didn't put in that presentation. Anytime a new person starts talking, you have to start a new paragraph. Notice here. Open the door, it will break it down, said another voice, this time in German, a Nazi. New paragraph right here. Notice, this is the edge of the page right here. But this is indented. I push the tab button here. Tab, 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 tab. These are all new paragraphs because this is Yannick talking here and this is the Nazi talking. We need separate paragraphs for each of them. I'm going to add that. Let's add it right now. You can see behind the velvet ropes it was. Here we go. Here's my paragraph example. Okay, so let's make a new speaker. New paragraph. Okay. So, hello, my name is Meg. Tab. Hi, Meg. My name is Joe. I'm going to put a period there. I think that looks better. Hi, Meg. My name is Joe. Okay. I'm going to show you Joe waved and gave Meg a big bear hug. His After setting her back on the floor, Meg began to laugh. New paragraph. Wow, Joe, she said, you are really strong. Okay, so notice Meg talking, Joe talking, Meg talking. Okay, let's look back here. Nazi talking, Yannick talking. Sometimes students do a wrong thing where they want to say the tag first and the speech second, and they separate those by a paragraph. No. Those are all one sentence. Join them up, but they need to be in their own paragraph. Okay. Let's keep looking. My mother stared at the door. None of the other parents made a move. I had to do something. Let's look for our next dialogue. When we tell you to open the door, the German officer told the adults. I want you to notice this. Okay. With families huddled together, hugging one another tight. Do you have jewels, gold, a radio? He demanded. Wait a minute. Why isn't this first part, in a different paragraph than the second part? Let me highlight it. Wait, why are these two in the same paragraph? Think about that for a second. Why is this little bit of dialogue and speech in the same paragraph as this little bit of speech? Okay. Did anybody say because it's the same speaker? Same speaker. Let me do another example here. Duplicate slide. Same speaker, same paragraph. If you want. Same speaker, same paragraph. It's so nice to meet you. Okay. So now I gave Joe some more dialogue. Hi, Meg. My name is Joe. Joe waved and gave Meg a big bear hug. After setting her back on the floor, Meg began to laugh. It's so nice to meet you. Let me actually put this up here. Put that up there. I think that looks a little nicer. Okay. So because it's still Joe talking, I can keep it all in the same paragraph, if that makes sense for my story for them to be in the same paragraph. Okay. Here we go. Same speaker, same paragraph. Same German officer. My mother didn't answer. She just blah, blah, blah. In the kitchen, I said, I'm trying to see if he's got a tag first. Another example, give it to them, I yelled. Give them anything they want. Even though this is two different sentences Yannick is saying, they're all the same speaker, so they can stay in the same paragraph. Okay. Let's highlight those. Let's see if he's got one where he has the tag first. No. None where he has the tag first. I'm just going to put that out there. The tag first is the least common. Tag last is most common. So, mama, I said, most common. Okay. So, dialogue feels super scary and overwhelming. I hear you. Feels like, oh man, how do I do this? You know what the benefit is? You open up any book and you can look at what that author's written and it's correct. They've made sure. Okay. So you can learn from the books you've read. You can use this video and you can use the PowerPoint. Okay. So please use those to help you to punctuate your dialogue correctly. And I'm looking forward to double checking that and giving you a high five virtually for getting that done. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. Proud of you.